Look, I don't think we can avoid this. We now need an inquiry into the Victoria Police. No democracy can have a police force that seems, at times to me, to have been devoted to destroying a single individual. In this case, Cardinal George Pell. Here is a shocking statistic that damns the Victoria Police. On Tuesday, the High Court unanimously threw out Pell's ludicrous conviction for somehow managing to rape 2 boys at once in a wide-open room at exactly the time when it was most likely to be full of people. And that means that Victoria's police now have a success rate of 0 convictions, 0, out of the 26 times it has tried to get Pell jailed or fined. That's right. Victoria Police have charged Cardinal Pell 26 times with various sex offences against 9 different people, and every single one of those charges has failed. Every single one of those 26 charges was so preposterous or so weak that they've been dropped or dismissed. Can you imagine police trying 26 times to nail you and failing every single time? Wouldn't you start to think they had it in for you? But Police Chief Commissioner Graham Ashton denied this morning that his police force did have an agenda against Pell.
What a joke. We don't run vendettas against people. That's not what we're about. That's not what we take an oath to do. We take an oath to serve the community, and that means that we do it without fear or favour.
Oh, really? Well, point 1 about this police culture, I'm not accusing Ashton personally, I'm just saying the culture of which she presides. Victoria Police publicly advertised for people to come forward if they'd been abused at Pell's Cathedral exactly when he was the boss. Now that sounds to me like some police decided from the start that Pell was guilty of something. All they needed to do was put an ad in the paper. Police then charged Pell with offences so unbelievably improbable. You take the example that I mentioned last night. They even charged him with repeatedly taking one boy out of a children's home to rape him, including at a cinema. He's supposed to have anally raped this boy sitting up in his chair for 3 minutes in that cinema, the boy screaming, yet somehow nobody in that cinema notices they're trying to watch the film. And Pell allegedly raped this boy on one occasion so badly that his foster mother had to take him to a doctor. That was the claim. But the police didn't simply charge Pell with crimes that literally didn't seem possible. They also failed to investigate properly. You go back to this example, and I've got a number on my blog. I can't do them all here, there's too many. That boy that Pell supposedly raped in a busy cinema, raped several more times also after taking him out of the orphanage he was living in. Well, somehow police didn't cotton on to the fact the boy didn't even live at that orphanage at that year. Pell never worked at that orphanage. The film that the police said that that Pell took the boy to wasn't even screened that year. Those anal injuries of the boy, his foster mother didn't remember them, and nor did his doctor. How did police ever think, oh yeah, close enough, let's charge Pell? They must have done that, thinking he was guilty from the start. Don't need to investigate further. And they charge Pell again and again and again with cases so weak that, to repeat, every single one of them, every single one of those 26 has collapsed or been overturned. Even this latest one that the High Court threw out. The police were warned by Victoria's Office of Public Prosecution, this case is too weak, do not proceed. But they did. And Pell spent 405 days in jail for a crime he could not possibly have committed. An inquiry now. Joining me is the leader of Victoria's Liberal opposition, Michael O'Brien, who is himself a former lawyer. Michael, thank you so much for your time. What does this extraordinary sequence of events say about Victoria Police?
Well, thanks, Andrew. Look, it's deeply concerning. I studied law, I practiced law because I was a genuine believer that the legal system should be about protecting the rights of individuals, protecting the rights of citizens. And what we've seen now with the High Court verdict in the Pell matter is that Victoria's legal system, judges, prosecutors and police, have shown to have engaged in conduct which the High Court has thrown out. And it's not just once. This is the second time in 15 months that the highest court in the nation, the High Court, has unanimously stepped in and dealt with Victorian police conduct which has just gone beyond the pale. In the Lawyer X case, the High Court said that Victoria Police had engaged in reprehensible conduct. Reprehensible conduct, Andrew. That's now the subject of a Royal Commission. So, as somebody who has a great passion for institutions that are about protecting liberty and rights, I'm very concerned at what's happening in Victoria at the moment.
And the Lawyer X case involved police using a lawyer as an informant to snitch on her own clients, which is just unbelievable. It's just extraordinary. Now, in the Pell matter, the Chief Commissioner says his force did not have an agenda here. Nevertheless, they lodged 26 charges against Pell, 0 success, charges that fell apart like a house of cards. Does it seem to you that the police do not have an agenda, or are you a bit suspicious?
Well, look, Andrew, like you, I wouldn't want to cast individual aspersions on police officers, but I think that any time when police effectively tout for business without having an actual complainant to start the process, it does seem very, very odd. And it does raise questions that I think, in the interest of public confidence, Victoria Police should answer. Now, look, I have got the greatest respect for the men and women who wear that blue uniform, and they put their lives on the line for us. And the men and women of Victoria Police are amongst the finest in our community. But I do think that where things have gone so horribly wrong, as the High Court has found in this case, I do think that those people involved in the process, starting with the police but also the prosecutors, and even some of the judges who made decisions which the High Court has now said were just wrong. I think there is a need to explain how we got to that point so that the public can maintain confidence in these institutions.
I just wonder how any Australian would feel if the police force started to run ads in the paper, appeals in the paper, saying, does anyone know whether this particular person is a sex offender? Can you come forward, please? You know, I mean, it's just so extraordinary. Do you have confidence in the Police Commissioner?
Well, look, Andrew, I've said that Chief Commissioner Ashton is now has the opportunity to present his day before the Royal Commission into the Lawyer X matter, which he was involved with. I think it's fair to him to give him the opportunity to present his case, to consider what the Royal Commission finds regarding that matter, which the High Court has said was reprehensible conduct. I'll withhold judgment until we get to that point. But let me again state, the men and women of Victoria Police are hard-working, courageous, and thank God for them. But I think we do need to make sure that the leadership are acting in a way. They have to obey the law like everybody else, like I do, Andrew, and like you do. So let's make sure that our Victoria Police can be accountable where things have gone wrong, as the High Court has clearly indicated they have in this case.
Well, the Pell investigation was supervised by a man, an Assistant Commissioner Patton, who's apparently tipped to be the Graham Ashton's successor. Do you think that succession he should get the job while we still don't know what exactly went on with this Pell investigation? Well, look, Andrew, we've got a number of senior police in Victoria. One of them is Daniel Andrews, former Chief of Staff, who's been appointed to a very high rank in Victoria Police just recently. I do think that it's very important that police be seen to be well above politics. Independent police, independent prosecutors, independent courts are an absolute foundation of liberty and democracy. So I'd like to see that any potential issues should be dealt with and off the table before any decision is made by Daniel Andrews to appoint a longer-term successor to Graham Ashton. I think Graham Ashton's term is up middle of this year. Look, there's arguments being put forward by the Police Association that due to the coronavirus issue and the public order issues, that term should be temporarily extended. I think there may be an argument for that. We want to make sure that whoever does replace Graham Ashton has got the full confidence of the community. Michael O'Brien, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thanks, Andrew.